Mark Wahlberg and Byrne play Pete and Ellie, a couple who flip houses for a living. They've just become successful, really. They're both part of big families. And through a series of sort of not coincidences, but quick choices, they end up adopting 3 kids out of the foster care. Sean Anders, the director, and his wife adopted 3 kids themselves out of the foster care system, and it was a story that Sean always wanted to tell. It was one of those great movies that has comedy and drama, life in it. You think about a movie like Terms of Endearment or Kramer versus Kramer, or, those great, great movies of the 80s and many more before that, that don't really get the opportunity to get made as much as they used to. The best directors often make the same movie over and over, right? The greatest of them, right? Steven Spielberg often makes movies about broken families or kids having to deal with the stress of a family situation. I think that Sean and John's movies have always been about family in a way. Certainly the 2 that I've done with them in Daddy's Home had that. And this stretch into sort of the drama and the comedy and the real world of it, I think Sean has lived many of these experiences or lived experiences like these. Family can come from anywhere. Family can be the perfect nuclear family where the parents both have 2 parents still at home and and they have 1.9 children together, and you build it that way. Or a family can be a group of friends like the people who all made this movie together, or a family can be guys, girls, guys and girls, whoever it is, who adopt a kid or surrogate a kid or go into the foster care system and help out these kids, make them a part of their family. So I think the big, big idea of the movie is that family can come from anywhere. One of the things I really, really enjoy about what Mark and Rose are doing in the movie is that, in a certain way, they're both mom and dad. It's not or a Leave It to Beaver suburban 1950s idea of a family. They're both successful at what they do. They both have the responsibility for it. They both get frustrated by it. Rose has this beautiful comic timing, which just lights up the screen. And watching Mark play an emotional moment is really extraordinary. Making a story about family, I think, is really appealing for these guys in a world where a lot of them don't get made. We were so lucky with the rest of the cast of the movie. There's a group of really successful young stand-up comedians in the movie, in Tom Segura, Liza Schlesinger, Tig Notaro. Watching all of them tell a joke or be the butt of a joke, or honestly, even more enjoyable for me, is do something a little dramatic in the movie. And then Margo Martindale and Julie Hagerty play the grandmothers in the movie. Having those guys around has been extraordinary. And then all capped off by Octavia Spencer, who all I want to do is sit around and watch Octavia Spencer act. So we got really lucky on the cast. he knew he wanted Octavia, and we were able to work her schedule out for her to do the movie, and she loved the script the first time she read it. And then after we knew we had Octavia, Sean said, "What about Tig Notaro? I want to pair Tig Notaro with Octavia Spencer." And I thought to myself, that would be kind of Batman and Robin-ish. That would just be as, great as it could be. And watching the two of them together, they're both so funny naturally, but, Tig's just deadpan, dry wit, and the look that Octavia could give out of the corner of her eye, you could make a silent movie with the two of them. When you start thinking about foster care or about adoption, you realize that all of us have a direct connection to it somehow, and somebody really close to us has either adopted or had a friend who grew up in foster care or mentored someone in a foster care situation or something. And it's amazing. Sheila Jaffe, our casting director, was adopted. Mairead, who is a young woman who is PAing on the movie, was a kid in foster care who was adopted out of foster care, who is now at UCLA and was a really important consultant for Sean and John on the movie. And you realize that so many people have been touched by it in one way or another, that the audience for this movie with a personal connection to it is really, really broad. There's definitely a notion of that the people who do this are just better people than everybody else. How can they? We even say it in the movie. Mark says in the movie, we're not like the people who do this. And I think that that's really the main perception of it, right? I think maybe somebody would say to you, "Oh, those kids are broken. I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know what to do with that." Honestly, who among us is not broken in some way? But I think the main thing and the fear in it is, oh my God, I won't be good enough to do that. How could I be prepared to take on not one kid or two kids, but three kids or any kid? It would really, really make me happy if one of the main things taken away from the movie was, man, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can be a parent to these kids. Let's make an entertaining movie. Let's make an entertaining, successful movie. Let's make an entertaining, successful movie that people tell other people they want to see. But if it could also edify people to say, wow, I can help, or I can do this, that would be really nice. A movie doesn't necessarily, as much as I love them, and I love all of them, need somebody with a cape or a cowl in it or a giant robot. And to be able to go into a movie theater and sit next to somebody on the left who's laughing and somebody two seats on the right who's crying about it, and then a half hour later have them switch, that sounds like a pretty nice time at the movies to me. We're in Atlanta. We've shot the entire movie on stage and on location here. Atlanta is a phenomenal city, first of all. Great food, great entertainment, phenomenal art. But I have to say, just the hardest working, best film crews I've ever worked with. The most enjoyable people who are all down for the common goal of making the movie. And, we're at the Tyler Perry Studios, which is a fantastic studio and facility. Atlanta and Georgia's been a great place to make a movie.